Hey guys, how you doing? This is Baruch with Emet Permaculture, and I just want to take the opportunity to show you guys the homestead. Sorry, those are my ducks. Um, and just share with you guys. I know the last video I was a big like Debbie Downer, but I want to show you guys a little bit of what I've been working on for the last couple of years. I've been here for 2 years now, and I came here. There really wasn't too much, but the blue uh, trailer thing behind me. And I've been just putting some spare time and effort and a little bit of money into improving the place. Um, and wanted to show you guys what I've been able to do. I'm not a professional at this, by any means, or at least I don't think of myself as a professional. Um, but I've been reading a lot of stuff and working on various stuff that I've seen other people do, and then kind of trying to put my own spin on it. And some of it's worked out pretty well, and I want to show you. Um, so right here, this is the first thing I planted here. This is an apricot tree. It was uh, about shoulder height for me when I brought it here, and I just put it in. At first, I had a drain from the kitchen running out to it. Actually, the kitchen drain runs down there now. There's a black locust back there, which is less than a year old. Excuse me, just about a year old. It's self-seeded. But this guy I've run out drip irrigation to, and he's taking off like crazy. Aside from other things, apricots will have not next year because it's a Shemitah year, but the following year. But I've been using the branch trimmings to propagate cuttings basically from it. So this tree I should be able to get dozens of little apricot seedlings off it every year. Okay, let's take a look a little bit further. Here I have a bunch of straw. I brought these straw bales in because I used the deep bed method for the ducks. I got a flock of ducks this year that I incubated, and for protein and to eat our vegetable scraps, and for eggs. They're really, really good egg layers. And actually, I'll show you guys. This is the shed that I built for them here. Okay. Um, and it doesn't stink. I mean, they go in there at night. They're free range during the day. This thing doesn't stink because I just put a layer of straw down every week or 2 weeks. Um, and it composts basically. Their poop enriches it. It composts, and so I'd have to take it out once a year and use it for compost. Um, it's really, really basic stuff. Ducks are a lot hardier than chickens with regards to cold and wet, and it just keeps the rain off their heads, and that's it. So let me show you guys the area back here. The ducks are here, by the way. They're probably going to start yelling. I've got at this point 21 ducks back here, and 21. Excuse me, I have 20 ducks back here, and another 7 little hatchlings inside. I incubated them all from eggs this year, and it's been really, really simple and low maintenance. You can see them behind me. We'll get a closer look here shortly. So this here is the black locust that I planted. It's about coming on 3 years old now. Really taking off nicely. This is going to be really nice for. It fertilized the soil here, and it's going to be real good for lumber, really high quality furniture grade lumber. I've got it mulched a little bit with sawdust from the hatchlings, from the duck chicks, the ducklings. But honestly, I didn't really do too much. Just put it in there and irrigated it. It took off. This guy is about. This is another black locust. This one is less. It's about a year old. Something attacked it here and killed off a bunch of these leaves, but it's growing new ones, so it's doing okay. I sprayed it down with soap water, and that really seems to have helped it. Back here is a tagasaste. This is a small tree from the Canary Islands. It enriches the soil, and really good for animal fodder. I don't know if the ducks will eat it, but it's really, really full of protein. I made it kind of dense here for various reasons, but basically, you guys will see I put a fair amount of trees in this area. This is peppermint. I put in one stalk of peppermint here and put some drip irrigation on it, and it's been taken off. You guys can see how rocky this is. Really, this whole area was just thorns and rocks until I got into it, and I didn't really put that much time into it. You know, maybe an hour a day for a year to clear this out and plant it. Less than a year, 4 months. Back there is an apple pear that I grew from seeds, from an Asian apple pear that we ate. That's doing pretty well. Here's all the ducks. They're hanging out. I got a little kids bathtub for them, and I got some food and water for them, and they just hang out here. They're free range. They don't go very far because this is where the water is. The dog I've explained to the dog that you know, the ducks are not her food, and so she watches over them. Foxes don't really come up here because the dog is free range as well. There's a cat that hangs out but does not really bother the ducks. So it's a pretty nice arrangement. They hang out here, they fertilize the soil, they eat our scraps. This is, I think, this is an acacia, and I don't remember either. This is a Phytherbia Anna, or it's Acacia nilotica. I don't remember. It's one of the two candid species that I found for the tree that the ark was built from, the Shita. And it's nice. Again, it grows fast. It propagates. It fertilizes the soil, and it's good for animal feed. Back here, this guy right here is a pomegranate that I grew from a cutting. This is a little bit over a year old. You can see he's already got a pomegranate on it right here. This little red guy. Again, for the next couple of years, we're not going to be able to eat off him, but at this rate, he's going to provide some much-needed shade to the house and the duck coop, because the sun rises over there and goes over this way, and this line of trees will provide shade, lowering our cooling expenses. I just put in an air conditioner after 2 years of living here. We got pretty high ceilings and fans, and so we've been able to do okay. But this year I just got tired of it and put this thing in myself, which you guys can see cutting through the wall. I caught a little bit of flak right in the eye. Thankfully, always wear eye protection, kids. You know. Anyway, we got a lemon tree here. Now this guy's not doing so great. He's not really. He's surviving, but the winters are very hard on him. In retrospect, I should have put him further behind the house to have the house block the wind. The wind comes right up from there, from the sea, and it's pretty brutal in the winter. But oh well, you know, he's surviving. I assume eventually, you know, I mean, if I keep watering him in the summer and trimming the lower branches and stuff, it'll turn into a bona fide tree, I hope. Here, give me a sec here. These ducks are remarkably stupid animals. They still haven't figured out that, you know, I'm not a threat until, you know, it's time to get eaten. But then that's rare, you know, for them. This is another pomegranate. You guys can see. Let me see here. This is from a cutting. This is less than a year old. I just took a pomegranate branch and cut it, and it's, you know, rooted it, and it's doing okay. So here you can see behind the house, I'm growing some trees to shade the back side of the house. The sun comes out from that side, so I want trees on this side running parallel with the house, the long side, in order to cut down on our and our cooling bills. You can see I have some more peppermint here. By the way, I've got this is an apple pear, one of those Asian apple pears I grew from seed. Back here, this whole thing is my compost pile. Eventually we'll be growing vegetables out here. This is a a Greek strawberry tree. This guy's, he's doing well. He doesn't grow so fast, but he has delicious fruits. In a couple of years he will anyway. This guy is a Polonia. You can see he's taller than I am already. Looks like some branches broke off here. I don't know what happened here. But in any case, here he is, my Polonia. Wow. Yeah, he's doing real nice. He's doing real well. And here's another one. This guy is growing slower, but he's doing well as well. That's it. We'll move back there in a little bit. This is an area that I cleared out next to the house on the backside. I really put in a lot of effort cleaning this out. In retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have. There's a few interesting things here. Right there, that's an oak tree. I didn't plant that. That's a local Palestinian oak. It's self-seeded. When I cleared out all the thorns from here, I found it in a couple of other ones, and I ran irrigation to it. It's been growing okay. Right here is a fig tree that I grew from a cutting. This is a little bit over a year old. It grew really fast vertically last year, and now it's growing all these side branches from the main trunk. You can see it's got new leaves here, and then older leaves that are looking all beat up back here. Shalom, look at those. It's my little daughter back there. She's caught on out the window that I'm here. I put in a lot of acorns last year, all through here, and a lot of them have grown into little tiny oaks. These are very slow growing trees. I like to have a mix of fast growing and slow growing trees, so that the slow growers that are shade tolerant will they're more of like a long-term investment, in my opinion. This is a rose bush. There's no roses on it right now. It's too hot, but it does grow roses, and I grew it from a cutting. So roses grow real nice from cuttings. I plan to propagate it. Here you can see like how much it's grown. This is all new growth over the last few months. I plan to propagate a lot more roses this winter, and use them as hedges. I'll show you guys the hedge system a little bit later. Down there you can see I have the bioreactor, which is taking all of our sewage from the house, plus some of the neighbors' horse manure, and turning it into biogas, hopefully, so that I can run it to that white box there. That's an inline water heater, and heat the water for the house when it's winter and cold here. I'm a little bit worried about using it for cooking, because if there's a leak, it's odorless. Down here you can see in one of those oaks that I planted here, it's grown about 2 feet, or excuse me, a foot and a half, something like that in a year. So a very slow growing tree, but very, very hardy. It can grow on very rocky soils, and produces a lot of acorns that have food value, and they're good for the wildlife around here, which is a big concern of mine. I'm trying to get more biodiversity in here, basically. Down here you can see I have a lot of seedlings for next year. This is mostly black locust and tagasaste that I'm growing from seeds. There's a lot of weeds that are in here, and I'm not really concerned about it, because they die off by the winter. Right now we're in the hottest season. They provide some shade and cut down on evaporation. I haven't really seen any problems based on my lack of weeding the seedling beds. Actually, what's happened is when the weeds die off, when it gets colder, I can see, like, usually there's a lot of seedlings in the undergrowth. Maybe they don't grow quite as fast as they normally would. I'm not sure, but it's actually okay, because I don't want to keep them in these bags for too long. they'll get root bound, and if they don't grow so fast, then that buys me more time to put them in the ground. Down here, you guys can see this is a fig tree right here that I propagated from a cutting rather, and it's doing good. It's quite young, but these are really nice, healthy leaves it's got going there. Based on just the way it looks, I think it's got. I think it's feeling pretty good about where it is right now. I'll show you guys. So this is all basically last year's activity, except for some of these seedlings. But the beds are also last year's. This is actually kind of cool. This whole bed last year was full of Robinia seedlings. One of them ran away and decided to grow on its own. This guy specifically, and you can see it's taller than I am. This is like a year's growth. So I'm gonna keep it here. I'm not really worried about it casting shade on the planting beds because it's sparse shade. Robinia is kind of a sparse shade type tree, and in the summer it gets really hot here. So instead of having a sun net, I've got this Robinia on the south end of the planting bed. I think it'll be nice. Back there are a bunch of Polonias for next year. Those really big trees. Let me show you guys a little bit around here. So this whole area here, I started planting stuff here last winter, and I didn't clear any weeds out or anything like that, and I didn't really restack these rocks. You can see there's like ruined rock walls and stuff. I just wanted to see what would grow and what wouldn't. So I only cleared out the weeds where I would plant seedlings. I've got some fruit stuff here. I've got a bunch of loquats that I grew from seed here. I want to see if they'll take off. I think they will this year. These are a couple of loquats, and they're doing okay. I got a few mangoes here that I grew from seed also. This is a mango. Looks pretty happy. They got these dark leaves. That's all new growth. I'm going to restack these ruined stone walls probably to give them a little bit more protection from the wind that comes up from the sea from there. But the mangoes survived last winter fine, and I think with more stone mass around them to hold the heat of the day in over the winter, I think they can do okay here. It rarely freezes here, and if it does, it doesn't freeze for long. More peppermint here. I'm hoping to that this stuff will start propagating, especially as I start clearing out a little bit more of these thorns here. This thorny terrain is basically the way that most of Yehuda and the Shomron is. This is what happens when you cut down all the trees and then you let goats graze on the new growth until that's all that survives. And this is kind of a local equilibrium, meaning that once I get some shade cover in here to reduce evaporation, once I get some higher trees, then that'll become the new equilibrium. There can be a multi-level food forest. But until that happens, this nasty thorny stuff will just it's just stable. It won't go anywhere. So this place actually needs us to help it become what it should be. Let me show you guys some other stuff. This is a black locust that I seeded here this spring, and it's surviving. Hopefully, because they grow so fast, hopefully by next year it'll be taller than I am. This area really, I didn't do too much except for plant some trees here. I planted a lot of Japanese raisin trees here, and they seem to like it. Let me show you some of the nicer ones here. I'm going to be building the place up here a little bit at a time over next year. Basically, it's a thorny wasteland hillside right now. Lots of thorns and rocks, but I think if I just keep putting stuff in here that'll work with each other, this could be really nice. It could be a really nice food forest in just 2-3 years. So this is a raisin tree, a Japanese raisin tree. These guys supposedly grow really fast. I don't know. We'll see what happens over next year. They're supposed to be really hardy and have an edible fruit. It's I put in probably about 30 of them in here, just experimentally, and we'll see how it goes. I've also got some more conventional stuff. For instance, I've got some. Let's see if this guy's here. I've got some fig cuttings all through here, and those are very, very hardy. Just a second. Oh, back there. Those are very hardy. They really like this rocky soil. So fig for me is a fallback if all the exotic stuff doesn't go as well as I think it should. Here you can see this is a fig cutting from this year, and it really took. I mean, this thing I think within the next couple of months should be almost as tall as I am. I mean, I can really see it rooted fine. The leaves are doing healthy and are doing well, look healthy, and so I think this thing has a future. Figs and pomegranates really in this area are, I mean, they take off like crazy. Robinia Polonia also. So we'll see. As I continue working on this area, I'm going to find probably a mix of more traditional trees and imported, like exotic trees that'll do well, and kind of create a system that'll work well together. Let me show you guys some other stuff. The whole perimeter here, running along the road, I've put in cactus, sabras, prickly pears, they're called in English. The nice thing, I've put in a thornless variety here, or I mean, it's got less thorns. I don't know if it's completely thornless. And I didn't, unlike the trees where I ran irrigation line, drip irrigation to all of them, I don't irrigate these cactuses. I just would cut a leaf and put it in the ground every meter. And you guys can see everybody survived the summer. They've rooted. You can see, like this one, for instance, has three of these ears, and that means that it's successfully rooted and it's thriving. In a couple of years, these guys grow really fast, so they should be about as tall as I am and create a hedge. I think probably I'm going to put in roses about 1.5 meters back, also every meter, and so have a cactus hedge, a rose hedge above that, and then above that maybe Polonia, because Polonia grows really fast and really thick and should block the wind. And the only part of that, I mean, I guess I'll put some irrigation line for the Polonia. I'm not sure even if the roses need it. If the Polonia is putting some shade down, maybe they'll do okay. We'll see how it goes. So that's basically, I mean, you guys can see, you know, it still looks like, unless you look closely, it still looks like thorny, rocky hillside. But the vision is that in a few years, this will all be multi-level food forest, and it'll be real nice and shady and produce a lot of fruit, produce a lot of lumber for construction and for furniture and things like this, fodder for animals, for the ducks specifically, and that's kind of it. That's kind of the vision. The big picture, I guess, is this. All this stuff is homestead, right? It's government land. I don't know what the future of it will be, and frankly, I don't really, I mean, I'm not too emotionally invested in it. You know, if the government decides to come and bulldoze it and build developments over it, you know, I mean, it's sad, but what can you do? What I would encourage all you guys to do, especially you living in Israel, but even living outside of Israel, if you have land that's unclaimed and not used, you know, whether it's something like this or former industrial lots or whatever, don't sit there and, like, you know, think, well, what if if I can't buy it, if I can't this and that, and what's the future of it? Plant stuff. This all cost me very little. The seedlings that I bought cost me the equivalent of a couple of bucks when I bought them small. The dirt was almost free. You know, the bags that I grew them in were almost free. Water's real cheap. Um, a lot of them I propagated from cuttings. So you guys can all do this. You know, you can all gather local seeds like I did with the acorns and plant them, and improve the area around you. You know, um, worst comes to worst, you know, somebody will go ahead and make the conscious decision. Hey, I'm gonna take this all down and build something on top of it. Which what can you do? But if they don't, you have a productive piece of land, and you know. You have something that's working for you. You have something that's nice for the community. It looks nice. Other people see it and they want to do the same thing, and you can advise them on how to do it. Maybe even supply them with some of the stuff they need. Uh, you know, I think the Jewish perspective on life is that the world is not a jungle; it's a garden. And that all sounds good and nice. But I think places like this are an opportunity to put your money where your mouth is and show that the world is in fact a garden and that we are here making it better. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, if you want to help out, if you want me to help you out, whether with advice or seedlings or anything else, just let me know. Let me know in the comments, dropping a line privately, and have a good one. Thank you for watching.